Welcome to Visual Scale Modelling. This is part 3 of Tamia's Tiger 1 late version. Scale is 1 to 35. So in part 3 I'm going to be doing a bit of the paint work and working on some of the little bits and pieces that will be going onto the hull. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. To begin with, I'm working on the exhaust and covers. The exhaust here, top part, has 4 little pronged parts that have to go onto the cap. They're very small, but they are quite simple to install. Each one has their own little location point. You just need to be careful how you put them on, but it is fairly straightforward, although small. Everything has been painted into Tamia's XF60 dark yellow as the base colour. So anytime you see that the base colour, you'll know that's the paint I've used. So with a little bit of patience, these top caps are, as I said, they are fairly simple. It's just the scale of them. So I'll bring them right up to the camera so you can see the prongs. And once I've made up the top cap, the other process is the bottom part, and this is just one single unit onto the middle section. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm moving over to Tamia's XF56 metallic grey, and I'm using this colour just to paint in some pipe work and that. And as you can see, I'm doing this on the sprue, and this is just for ease of handling. And once I've done that, I can then go back to the exhaust because it's now fully dried, and I can put on the cap piece that I built up earlier on. And as you can see, it's a little bit awkward, but the little 4 prongs do match up with 4 very small location points at the top. Don't worry so much if you can't get them exactly in the location, because you won't see them as long as they're not leaning over to one side or out of the actual area. It's fine. So next I'm placing on some little bits and pieces onto the rear of the hull of the tank. There's a few bits to go on, but they're all fairly straightforward, and each one has the location point. As you can see, I haven't painted the back piece yet. That was because I wasn't sure exactly what was going to get placed where. But now that I know where everything's going to go, I'll start the painting process. And once everything is dry, it's time to place on the exhaust. So the inner part of the exhaust goes on first. Location points are fairly easy to find on this. There's one big circular one for the bottom part where I'm just putting the cement now, and that just pushes inside. You can see there. Just try and get them straight. That's the only thing. You don't want them to look slightly off centre. Then once they're on, the next part is to put the outer cover or bracket on, and that just sits at the bottom there, like so. And once they're on, there's a little pipe or crank that goes into the bottom here. Again, it has its own little location point. As long as you look at the instructions to see exactly where it goes, you shouldn't have any problems. And as I go along, I'm just painting in little touch-ups. So this particular one I'm painting in is just the holding brackets that would hold this pipe in. So I'm making up a part, and I think it's a crank. And this is painted in Tamia's XS56 metallic grey, which I painted earlier on the sprue. This is again a fairly easy little part to make up. There's one end cap that goes onto it. Then there's another handle or lever that gets built onto it. I found it easier to build it sort of on the sprue, just for ease of handling. The connection points are quite small, so it was easy enough to snip them off once everything was dry, and then just touch up the paint. For the crank, I assume it's a crank, I'm not 100% sure. The only reason why I'm calling it a crank is it does have another lever at the top, which I'm placing in there. It sort of looks like some sort of crank. Whatever it is, I'm not 100% sure. These little parts here I'm putting on, Again, each have their own location points, so there's no guesswork in this build. Each one has a specific place, and the location point shows you where it is. Sometimes these builds just show you the picture and roughly where it goes, but the Tamia instructions are quite good for showing you exactly where everything goes with their location points molded in. Now all the little parts are on. There's an outer cover that goes over the whole exhaust system now. That butts down onto the bracket I put on the lower one, slightly off camera there. I'm still trying to get used to the close and zoom and positioning the kit while I'm building it. So just bear with me on this. I'll do better on that as time goes on. But again, these covers do have their location points, but they're quite easy to fit. As I say, they butt down onto the main bracket, and so you can just see them there all in situ. And once everything's on, just retouching off some of the paintwork. Moving on to the forward section of the hull, so everything is just getting painted in the base coat of Tamiya's XF60 Dark Yellow once more. And while I'm there, I'm just doing the top part as well with the base colour, as well as the turrets and all the other little bits and pieces that have the base colour. Now some people can say, well, why are you doing it now? It's just a habit I picked up, whether it's the right way or wrong way, I don't know, but I prefer to do it like this than wait until it's all built. So now it's back to the front of the forward part of the hull, and I'm just making up one of the guns here that pops out of the side. The gun itself is painted in Tamiya's X10 gun metal, and it's just a simple full coverage of this paint. The gun and the gator that it goes into, it just gets pushed in. You don't really have to have any cement on this part, but I find it better to cement it in just in case it gets pushed in and you can't retrieve it once everything is closed up. So if you don't mind it being in one position, I would recommend cementing it in. There is a little lock and off cap that you can that places on, but the contact points are so small it'd be difficult to keep the cement away from the gun anyway, and your desire to have it free moving then is quite difficult to achieve. The forward panel then just slots into position. At first you think it goes in at a slight angle, but it should go flat in to a 90-degree angle. Just be a little bit firm with it and push it in, and it should just click into place. Next is the rear hatch for where the exhausts are. There's a couple of little, well, a little handle that just goes in at the back here. It's quite small, but the location points are defined enough for you to see it easy enough to place it on. A little gun sight goes into this covering here, and that's painted in X10 gun metal Tamiya. And the window part is Tamiya's X11 chrome silver. Now, the underside of this cover can be more detailed. There's parts in there for you to do that, but if you're having it close, there's not much point in putting that extra detail in, unless you want to, of course, but it's not particularly necessary. And once the viewing sight is in, then that has a cover that goes over the top of it. Again, just for the size, it can be a little bit tricky to place on, but it should be as long as you've got a nice set of tweezers, it should be fairly easy to place on. And then the turret just goes into its location. Again, it just falls in without any issue. There's two of these on the forward position of the hull, so I'm just placing in the second one now. And then the rear hatch goes in there. And this is where I'll end part 3. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my other builds as well, of course. hit that like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share this video. So I'm just going to finish off painting all these little bits and pieces on before I place them on the tank, but I'll go through all that in part 4. So for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.